Welcome to Creating Space podcast. I'm Asher Postman, and this is my good friend Jeff Garrison, or Jeffrey Garrison, depending on what you feel like going by.
Yeah, either or.
Well, this is the Creating Space podcast where I'm kind of unpacking some more concepts from my album, Creating Space, and just bringing on good friends of mine for a really interesting conversation about creativity and balance and music and all that. So welcome, Jeff G.
Thanks for having me.
I figured it'd be kind of fun to just give a really quick story of how we met because it's actually super interesting. But how do you remember it?
I remember the experience of the longest gate delay of all time. So we had
Allegiant.
Oh, yes. And we boarded the plane, and then we sat next to each other on the plane, and they
had a broken rib.
Oh, yeah. It ended up not being a broken rib. It ended up being a slipped rib.
Okay.
But I had to get that thing. It kept on slipping even after that. But it has not popped out since, so it's all good. But yeah, we sat next to each other on the plane, started talking about music, and basically got, because we were delayed at that gate, we probably sat and chatted for what?
Couple hours.
4+ hours on the plane.
Yeah.
Because it was like 2-hour delay there. Then we deboarded, reboarded. Mm-hmm. And then I got back to Nashville, and my roommate at the time, I was like, yeah, I met this guy on a plane. He's like really talented, like really nice guy. Like we chatted for like a long time. Like he works in FL, like you work in FL. Like I think he's going to come over and hang with us at the house. And
shout out Johnny Reno.
Yeah. Shout out to Johnny Reno. And he's like, I know who it is. It's Asher Postman, isn't it? I was like, that's him.
That is so wild.
Just like the details that I gave him, I didn't give him like that many details, and he knew.
Yeah, the FL community is tight knit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
you know who's on FL.
Oh yeah. They're all aware of each other, even if you haven't met. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this sub community because like a lot of people don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I started on FL when I was like 12.
Well, then if you work in another DAW too, and you see somebody working in FL, you're like, why does it take you 9 clicks to just start recording a vocal? Like, what is going on?
Oh my gosh, yeah. They're still working on that.
But the bass has just a little more booty than other basses. Mm-hmm. So it just hits a little bit different than other DAWs. And
it's true.
And it looks like a video game too. Like it's just cool. It's really cool. And the plugins are cool. The Sound Goodizer.
Sound Goodizer, it's a classic. So we met. I had moved to Nashville like a month before, and we were both flying back to Michigan.
Because I didn't realize
this is
you
Michigan.
just
We're in
moved
Grand
there.
Haven right now. Yeah, I did.
Yes, Grand Haven.
And Jeff is from Grand Haven. I'm from Grand Rapids, and it was just one of those weird we met on a plane, and it was just like meant to be. And then our first write ever was the Lujan song.
Yeah.
Called Slow Ride. It was Joyride at first.
Yeah.
Wrote that with John Prentice and Jason Sheng, and then this big artist. If you're not from China, you probably don't know who he is, but if you're from China, you probably do. Lujan.
Yeah. And he was also in the K-pop band EXO, right?
I don't know.
I think I remember Jason saying he was.
Well, that would be cool.
You might have to verify that.
San fact check. So we wrote that, and then just been friends over the years and reconnected. Recently at church, you came to my church, and I was like, what the heck? Is that Jeff Garrison?
That was such a serendipitous experience.
Yeah, that was so wild. And here we are, finally doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Jeff is extremely dope. He's a very smart, knowledgeable man, very interesting, and extremely talented at songwriting and singing and everything. And so I'm excited to just kind of dive into all the fun stuff.
Well, thank you. You're very kind.
Yeah.
See, this is the problem when people set the bar high, then I can only disappoint. You know, you should be like, oh, he's terrible. And then maybe I can exceed an expectation. No.
Jeff is mid.
That's perfect.
Jeff is mid.
Like
hopefully
low
we'll squeeze
mid.
out like some good conversation if possible.
I'm like a burnt chip. You still have it, but you're like, I know what better chips taste like.
Yeah. Jeff is like mid-range heavy, like NS10s.
Yeah, exactly. But with a sub, occasionally you're like, oh man, this really pops with a sub.
Yeah.
You know?
Actually, surprisingly, I heard someone had NS10s in their studio, and it was like at least 200 grand studio. Like there was synths everywhere. Yeah. And he was using NS10s with like a Yamaha sub.
Yeah.
And I was like surprised at how good it sounded.
Really?
Yeah.
I they never agreed with my ears. There was like the HS8s and the NS10. There's like something in the 7K that my ear like can't hear past it. But I always wonder, it's like, is it just like the first speakers that you ever got? Is that what your ear just tunes to? And then like,
what are your first speakers?
Well, I guess like the very first speakers I got were just the Rockets, but just for a little bit. And then I saved up and I got
those are rough.
Those are rough.
I'm sorry
just
to anyone
a
who uses
loud
Rockets.
iPhone speaker.
Yeah.
But then I got those Neumanns, and I've had those for forever. Actually, one of them broke. I had to send it to like Connecticut for them to fix it. But I've had those for forever. And I've switched some speakers, and then but every time I go back to those things, it's like I feel like I'm at home.
Go back to what?
Those Neumann speakers that I have. I don't even know what the KH8s, I think maybe is what they're called. But
yeah, I'm still using Atoms, which I think are pretty dope. But I started off on the HS5s for a long time.
Did you like the HS5s or?
I mean, I didn't know any better. Like to me, that was an upgrade because I was just using these like Sony, like hi-fi system,
just like laptop speaker plug-in kind of things.
But they were like really big.
Yeah,
and that was my first experience with like having a sub.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like incredible. But eventually, I realized like you don't really get a very accurate response with those.
They had a sub. Was it an actual sub or was it?
Yeah, it was like these two speakers that were like this big and then a big sub with it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And it's just like super redneck, like aux cord kind of thing.
I love it.
Yeah. But slowly upgrading little by little.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about like some creating space stuff. Like namely just trying to, like when you feel overwhelmed, which is really often as a musician, for a lot of us, just like certain things that can help you kind of like recenter. And I feel like it'd be interesting to talk about like some of your experiences with, because I know you've like done a lot of cold plunges and like you're doing them like every morning for a while, and different like breathing techniques and stuff. And I'm just curious to dive into like what that stuff actually does to your body. Because I started doing like cold showers. Yeah. And I feel like it did a lot of like interesting things. Like one of them was like a self-control thing, or like just getting yourself to go outside of your comfort zone. Yeah. I feel like that in and of itself like trains your mind, but also
totally.
Like when you get extremely cold, what does it like do to your body? Like what kind of goes on?
Well, there's like, I mean, it can do a number of different things. And there's like, when you're lowering, so if you're doing a cold shower, like what you're talking about, when you go in a cold shower, your body is going to release epinephrine. And I am not a neuroscientist, so like I'm kind of going to give the cliff notes of all of this stuff on my understanding, but I'll do my best. But essentially, like epinephrine is really great for things like focus, right? So we know that like ADHD is kind of an epinephrine problem. And epinephrine and dopamine are very closely related neurotransmitters. But, you know, they've done studies, a lot of the cold research is done in Iceland, and they've done studies where just like cold showers or cold exposure where you're spiking epinephrine really does have a pretty profound effect for up to, I think, either the whole day or like half a day. For people with ADHD, it can be really helpful. But also what you're talking about is also true. Like anytime that you have a pain response, you're going to have a pleasure response. And anytime that you have a pleasure response, you're going to have a pain response. So if you go work out, you're going to increase your dopamine, right?
Yeah.
But you've paid the pain price in the beginning for the dopamine price later. Same thing with cold. You go take a cold shower, you're going to have a pain response, but afterwards, then you're going to have an elevated dopamine response.
Yeah, it's the trade-off.
That's the trade-off. Yeah. Now, when you lower your body's core temperature, I don't know. I talked to a doctor about this, and I've done a decent amount of research, just like Huberman podcast, reading books or whatever. Dopamine Nation's a really good book. But basically, the lowering of the body temperature is going to have the most profound effect for the longest period of time. So if you're taking an ice bath, then you can have, I think it's up to like between like 36 and 48 hours of like a 2x of your baseline dopamine. But you don't.
Dang.
And I don't know if I should just go on a tangent.
Dude, go for it.
But
that's why I have you here.
But basically, like, it's important to like understand what dopamine is, how it functions, what low dopamine feels like, what high dopamine feels like. When you spike your dopamine, right? Like chocolate's a 2x, right?
Oh, wow.
A cigarette is a 2x. You know, different drugs have different dopamine spikes. And the intensity, however fast that spike happens is basically how addictive whatever you're doing is.
Okay.
But
that's why you don't get addicted to cold plunges?
I mean, people do get addicted to them. They can, but it's like...
That's a wild thing to get addicted to.
Typically, they're people that are like, in the book I read, Dopamine Nation, they actually do talk about a guy who gets addicted to cold plunges. But, you know...
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
He was, this guy beforehand was addicted to cocaine, and he quit doing cocaine.
I mean, I guess it's better.
Yeah, it's better. You're not going to be addicted to it in the same way where like you have the drug-seeking behavior that is associated with like substances. Like you're not.
Weren't you telling me about like people getting addicted to skydiving too? Is that you that was saying that?
So like that's
probably similar, right?
It's pretty
well, somewhat similar.
It's different because that's a really, really good thing that you like kind of back to how dopamine works. So if you're not paying the pleasure, if you're getting the pleasure first, the pain comes later. How dopamine works, people think of dopamine as this pleasure chemical. It's not a pleasure chemical. Dopamine is a seeking chemical. It is a chemical that says, if I do this, then pleasure afterwards. But the pleasure doesn't really come, right? It's a seeking chemical. It's like, if I go, it's like when you set a goal and you're like, oh, I'm going to feel like amazing if I were to release this song. And then the song comes out and it's like, you're almost disappointed.
Yeah.
And the reason for that.
Relatable.
And the reason for that is basically because the seeking chemical is the dopamine. So once the goal is achieved, you've been using all this dopamine to achieve the goal. Boom, the goal happens, and then you go into a depression. Well, why does that happen? Because you do not repeat tasks if you just go back to baseline. You have to go below that. You have to get sad. because if you don't get sad, you won't do it again. They have altered the mice. They've altered
It's like a dopamine cycle, right?
It's a dopamine cycle, yeah. So they've altered mice brains and basically had them go back to baseline and not have them go below baseline. When they eat, they will not seek food. They will not eat. You have to get sad in order to.
Wow.
You have to get. The sadness is extremely important. So to wrap that up with the skydiving thing. So you're getting this in super, super, super high levels of dopamine. And then afterwards, you go into these really, really big dopamine deficits. And if you don't sit in that sadness and sit in that low dopamine state and you go attempt to seek out pleasure again, then your dopamine doesn't go back to normal. It goes slightly below normal. You do that over the course of 6 months to a year and a half. Some people do it for a long time, and it can have really, really detrimental effects on your well-being. And for instance, specifically with skydiving, they have some of the highest suicide rates because, I mean, this is speculation, but what I would say, and what that Dopamine Nation book, they talk about it in there as well, is your dopamine is getting so high, and then you're tapping that out over and over and over again, and eventually you just get to these really, really low levels of depression. Something like an ice bath doesn't do that because you've paid the pain price in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's so fascinating.
So when you go down from that 2x dopamine, you're actually going back down to your baseline. You're not going below that baseline, which makes it not very addictive because the dipping below the baseline is where the drug seeking behavior takes place.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When you lose in gambling, like that is when the dopamine actually goes up. Like, so you get that like incessant kind of thing, but the winning in gambling actually lowers your dopamine. So it's like, I don't know. It's interesting to kind of dive into how the dopamine circuits work and whatever. And I could go on for a while about that and bounce around because I'm ADD, but
it's really relevant for creatives too, though. Like I feel like it's an age-old story that people get depressed when they make it.
Yes.
In music.
Oh yeah.
And like there's so many suicides from like old stars and stuff.
Yeah. Or just, they get addicted to drugs and just kind of eventually, even if it's not like some of them, even if it's like not an overt suicide, it's like they've kind of slowly killed themselves through addictions or whatever.
The thing I find so fascinating about that is like, we all know that like that happens to people, but somehow we still feel like it's the most important thing ever to like achieve that level. And like we seek it like crazy. Yeah.
I had a buddy and I talked to him about this. He was getting like an offer for his, he's getting an offer to sign like a record deal and they want to purchase some of his masters and stuff like that. And he's doing great. But every artist I have ever met has this like incessant like thing chipping away at them, which is like this desire to have some underlying anxiety alleviated by somebody else.
Wow.
And a lot of times people are like, that's a manager. This manager, if I just sign with this manager, then this stress is going to go away. Like it'll be so much easier.
Yeah.
If I just sign with this label, this stress is going to be so much easier and yada, yada, yada.
Or if I get more streams or like monthly listeners.
Yeah.
I think that's a big one too.
And I just told him, I'm like, listen, like your streaming numbers are really good. Like everything is good. It's really important to understand that incessant like bug that's just chipping away at you, like that little anxious engine that's like just that you're wanting the alleviation from, that's the same thing that it's making you get out and write. So you can't really get rid of it. Like that anxiety of like, oh gosh, I've got to do XYZ thing. That's high dopamine states. You're looking to alleviate that. And as a creative, the way that you've learned to alleviate that, is by creating.
Yeah.
But it is a little torturous, but I think it's like a lot of that, regulation and just getting to a healthy baseline. I think a lot of that is just radical acceptance, just radical surrender, because that
100%, that
incessant voice is also your greatest gift. And so, I don't know, not that I'm, I guess like the advice I gave to him was like, if you're looking for somebody to alleviate that stress, it's probably not the best reason to sign with somebody. Like, I think you do want to have quantifiable, because also I think artists feel like they don't have a lot of power. They don't have a lot to bring to the table. And it's like, everything is just, and some do, of course, but like a lot of times it's like people are looking for that to be alleviated. And it's like you do have, if you have something good going and somebody wants to get involved, like you should ask, like, okay, what are they quantifiably bringing to the table? Okay, they've got great, infrastructure for like socials. They have like a place you could shoot cool videos. They have like maybe a film person on staff or whatever. But embrace that little anxious engine, because it is actually your ally.
Yeah, dude, it's so interesting because it's like, that's like something is always keeping you going. And I think that's the balance I'm trying to figure out, like through this album being called Creating Space and like this podcast. Like I feel like you're saying, it's a good thing to have like a little bit of that, but I feel like a lot of people have too much of it to where they're constantly stressed. Yeah. And then their dream job of being a musician isn't fun anymore. Yeah. Because they're just like burnt out and everything. Yeah. But like, I'm not trying to like tell people like to chill out so much that you don't care or like you don't try hard. Yeah. Because even with me, like I'm trying to learn how to create space and like not be so stressed, but I also am very ambitious. Yeah. And like, there's always got to be something that like you're trying to achieve, because otherwise, like, what's motivating you
totally
to do anything? But there's got to be a way to have a balance though, because like you don't want to be so motivated, because like you said, like we're looking for something to alleviate, or no, you said like something about surrender. Yeah. I was just thinking about that like recently, that for me, like the balance that I try to strike as a Christian is like I want to achieve these things because I have like big dreams and stuff. Yeah. But I also don't want it to like inhibit my life in negative ways. And I feel like the way that I've been able to do that is to surrender to God and be like, he has, like, if I'm doing it with him, then he has I want what he wants for my career versus what I only want. Because if it's all up to me to make my dreams happen, it's like almost like you can never do enough, because like it's on your own shoulders to constantly try to make stuff happen. And that's so stressful. Yeah. It's like so stressful. But if you're like, I'm going to do what I can, but I believe that God's going to like do what he wants to do with it, I'm going to let him do that. Yeah. For me, that helps me to be able to like be okay with not doing this project, finishing it when I was supposed to or whatever, like being like, okay, I guess it wasn't meant to happen. You know? Yeah, totally. Does that resonate with you at all?
Oh yeah. I think, it's weird because it's counterintuitive. Yeah. That serving something bigger than yourself is actually paradoxically self-serving.
Oh yeah. Me and Justice were just talking about this on the way here, actually.
You like, if you're serving an imperfect being, then you're going to have imperfect satisfaction, and it's always going to feel like something's missing. But I do feel like when you're serving a perfect being, it's like you really do just like, you recognize your imperfections. So you know that like, okay, I'm never going to be perfect in this, but I want to serve my creator. I want to serve the creator that has forgiven and loved me actively and given me everything that he's given me.
Yeah.
And it allows, like what you were saying earlier with this, like, when you were talking about this underlying anxiety or this underlying stress that a lot of people have, like, oh, is it a hindrance or is it helpful?
Yeah.
Well, when it's a hindrance, I really feel like that's when placing that, I think what you said is amazing. Placing your faith in God as you're moving forward in this perfect being alleviates the anxieties that create the hindrance. Because you can just go,
totally.
Whatever's in your plan, I'm going to follow that. I want to serve you. And it's really easy to make decisions. Does this benefit people or does this not benefit people? Does this benefit God? Does it not benefit God? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, that's a pretty easy yes or no.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're relying on yourself, you're thinking about trade-offs, you're thinking about your own pockets, you're thinking about their pocket. What's fair according to me? It's like, it's really
thinking
difficult.
About yourself, like, ironically, is just so bad for you. Like, it
really is.
It's like, because you're like putting your own interests above everybody else's, but like it ends up just killing you.
Yeah.
It's just like in the fabric of how God made everything.
Which, it's like we all fall prey to that occasionally, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it's like
all the time.
And then it's like that, I guess it's the nature of being human, is like our mind convinces us to just take up residence in our head sometimes. When we can make some bad choices there.
Yeah.
Instead of kind of, making that journey to your heart and with faith and those kind of things and just being able to be led by faith is just, I guess, like, when I say surrender, I feel like that is the ultimate surrender to it. And just knowing also that when you're surrendering like, okay, I'm in this state and that's where I'm supposed to be right now.
Yeah.
And, from a biblical perspective and like bringing it back to kind of the science with dopamine, if I can, is like, you go through this work week where you're expending all of your dopamine every single day. And then it's, how do you recharge that? You have to take a day off. You have to do nothing. You have to sit there. That's
Sabbath.
That's the Sabbath.
Yeah.
You have to take that day off, do nothing, let those dopamine circuits reset. Let yourself be in that reflective state, which is like that low dopamine. You naturally kind of reflect, Yeah. And, that's the Sabbath day. And then you start that week again. It's like, it's by design. Yeah. It is by design that it's set up that way. And I think it's like, it's just one of those moments where science is kind of catching up to where faith has been.
Yeah, totally.
So,
yeah. One of my songs, Back to You, one of the lyrics is slow down, just try to breathe. I think I'm going to call the episode that for this one. But like, it's crazy over the years how much I've learned that taking a break and slowing down when you feel charged and like you've been working at the same song for so many hours and like you're at the point where there's nothing, like everything sounds bad to you, but like you don't want to stop because you have to keep working on it.
Yeah.
The times that I've like forced myself to step away, whether it's just like a break, like going to the gym or going for a walk or whatever, or if it's even just quitting for the day and like starting the next day.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how well that works. Because then the next day you hit it like way better.
Yeah.
I think that's really fascinating.
Oh, it is. Have you seen like the kind of the any like stuff about the science of like frustration and stuff like that?
No, I don't think so.
It's pretty interesting.
Hit me with it.
It's kind of exactly what you're saying, it's just exactly what you're saying. But basically after your brain is fully formed, you have
Like at 26?
Yeah, somewhere like between the ages of like 23 and 26, I think like in there, your neuroplasticity is essentially kind of gone. Like in terms of like, you can just tell a kid something and they'll just learn. They're just internalizing everything and learning everything at lightning speed and whatever. But after you're older, like, you know, you're kind of stuck in your ways, so to speak. So the only way you can break through that is you, and there's these things called ultradian cycles. You can kind of learn like where your best learning cycles are in the day, but you have like a few learning cycles in the day. They're 90-minute windows.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, you work to the point of frustration. And the only way to make new brain connections is you have to get to that point of frustration, like to where you're actually a little upset, and then you have to stop and take a break. And then that particular process is how you learn.
Dude,
in
that
adulthood.
makes so much sense.
It's like,
That's the point of frustration is always when FL crashes and then I lose like 5 minutes of work.
yeah.
And just lose my mind.
Oh, it's
Like
it's
even
so
just
crazy.
5
Like
minutes,
how
I'm like,
I don't know why, but like 5 minutes is like an eternity of work.
you're just
in
like
production.
retracing your steps. Like I automated this,
Yeah.
and I added this effect, and you have to try
Oh,
to
yeah.
remember what you did.
It's like
Unless you have great
5
backups.
minutes is like somehow an eternity of work in because like you're spending another 10 minutes just thinking about it or whatever, retracing your footsteps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting with like, I feel like that works really well for me. Like now that you say that, like I've been trying to do time blocks,
Yeah.
like undistracted completely, like no phone, 2 hours, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And then like take a break and then do another time block after that.
Yeah.
And that works so much better for me.
That's
I don't know if you've
awesome.
ever tried something like that.
You know, I really want to. My workflow is the most ADD thing ever.
I mean, everyone has different.
I like to just
Things.
I'm like a kitchen sink guy, and then I'm just like, okay, like I'll just kind of then I like to, I don't know, what works for me is I think there's like a creating phase and an editing phase, and my
Okay.
brain does not, once I'm in the editing phase, like it's really hard for me to switch back to that creative phase. It's like almost like two different brains or something.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. They are very different things.
Yeah, and so I kind of just go, all right, if I can get 90% of the production done in that first like big leg, then I try to do that, and then it's just editing and notes and whatever, and it seems more like manageable.
Sometimes that
mentally.
can feel like a relief when you just have to, like, when it comes to like tuning vocals
Yeah.
and like the editing stuff. Every once in a while, it's like, all right, I can just do this. Like, this is a project that has to get done, and like it doesn't require any creativity.
No, it's just a video game. It's like, okay, I move, tuning the vocal, just nudging it around a little bit. It's very visual. And that's, for some reason, that feels like super bite-sized to me. It's just like, okay, got to time up the guitars a little bit.
Yeah.
Tune the vocals a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the bridge could use a little something, you know?
Yeah.
It's like always like you get to the end of the song and you're like, there's like 2 instruments on the bridge somehow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The bridge always gets to the wayside.
Oh, I know.
I even think with hit songs, sometimes I'm like, this bridge is just like, they definitely just threw that on there at the end of the day.
just
Dude,
throw a
that's how they
pad
always
on it.
happen. It's like you finish the song, like, oh shoot, we don't have a bridge. Should we do a bridge? And
The
it's like
answer should
someone
be
just
no.
like, yeah, it was someone just like sings something like, perfect, let's just do that. And then it's just like, that's a
I was
bridge.
writing with Craig Wiseman, and he's like, unless the bridge is going to win us a Grammy, we don't need one.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm like, well, you know, I've never like listened to a bridge and been like, that's just, that made the song. I guess
Yeah,
maybe there's
I can't really think of any on the spot either.
but we just, you know, we really feel the need to write them. I guess my favorite bridges are when like they just don't have the post chorus the first time.
Yeah.
And then there's just like, oh, the chorus is just like longer now. Mm-hmm. And
That's a solid one. And then you can like put the post chorus over another part at the end sometimes.
yeah,
That's always
yeah.
nice.
And then it's like you don't lose that momentum. But when you go into like a bridge and you're like changing the chord structure up,
Yeah.
it's like, I guess you got to do, it's like you got to do it well, and you have to do it well after you've expended a lot of brain power on the other sections.
Yeah. I actually did that with a couple songs on my album where like when it comes to the bridge, I just completely switched the vibe.
Yeah.
And that was kind of fun. Cause then it's like, it kind of takes you on a journey, and like it doesn't necessarily have to go back. Even like this song I said, Back to You, like I do like a weird like transition thing, and then it just does an outro and then it's done.
Oh, that's cool.
But that's more like, that's not really a pop song thing. That's more just like, I feel like being creative.
But sometimes I feel like my favorite, like Drake, that like Kiki song, it's just like, he just like lets that ride at the end.
Dude,
like,
and sometimes it
that
can
song
be a
has
hit.
no structure at all.
Yeah.
And it just vibes.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if anyone will make a modern like
And all that Justin Timberlake, like the like his second album, like all those had like 3-minute outros on them.
oh, like
And they
Suit
were
and Tie and stuff.
Yeah, like all of those, in Future Sex Love Sounds, like that one. Oh,
Yeah, those were some
there's like
creative
two
ones.
of those that have like 3-minute outros. What Goes Around? That one's got a crazy outro.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder about
Yeah.
like Bohemian. How do you say it?
Rhapsody. Yeah.
Whatever it is. That one's just like a wild ride,
Wild Ride.
and it's like one of the biggest smashes of all time. I wonder
Yeah.
if there will be any like modern day of those. that
I know,
come out.
if anybody could do it like in that way, I feel like it's got to be Benson Boone. Like I would be so down for just like a 7-minute Benson Boone.
Dude, it
just
would be
like-
cool.
But that one's got like tempo changes. And
Maybe we should do it.
yeah, that would be
and pitch
sick.
it.
That would be crazy.
That'd be kind of fun, actually.
Actually, I feel like a K-pop band could pull it off too.
Oh, that's true. They do bridges.
Yeah.
They do like, let's just do a different song for a minute.
Yeah, that's so sick. Yeah.
It is fun. Get wild with it.
I love it when like albums do that. When like everything just kind of like when there's like no track overlap, they just all kind of go into each other, and it's like Justin Timberlake did that. One of the Chili Peppers records like did that. There was like no gap in all of the songs. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure not very easily done, but
Yeah. It takes a bit more work.
yeah.
Do you feel like K-pop has influenced American pop much?
Oh, I think so. Because it's like music by nature is like kind of a derivative industry, like in a lot of ways. Like, I think that I think there's like these. I don't know. I have my opinions about it, but I think a lot of it is like these Enneagram 4s, like these creatives that like they really feel like no one understands them. They tend to be these like the first people to breach the new creative wall, but they're very seldom like huge.
Yeah.
You know?
They're like artists.
Yeah, they're artists. And then people go and like the big pop artists are like, that's sick.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, they'll just take it for themselves, and then they bring it to that super mainstream level.
Yeah. That's totally a thing.
And so I feel like K-pop really is that in a lot of ways. Like a lot of American artists are listening to K-pop because it's just cool. Like
It's fun.
Blackpink has been extremely influential, and
Yeah.
you know,
Well, even like Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, it's like K-pop vibes.
yeah, like the
like
vocal, just the
singing about
stacks.
coffee.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, totally.
Just like something random like that.
yeah.
Yeah. I think it's cool.
I think we're kind of heading back to that, like, you know, I think we're kind of heading back to a more just creative pop lane. I think
Yeah.
I think it's almost like the mid 2000s were like kind of an uncreative pop thing. I love Kesha and I love that music. It's fun. But that era was very just like kind of cookie cutter songs or whatever. And it was kind of just like what you would expect out of like I don't know, like a sex sells kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, okay, like, which is fine. I don't know. It's not like necessarily every era has great music too. Like Continuum in that era is like insane. But then I feel like it like pendulum swung like super far over to the other side where like hyper personalized lyrics, like super storyteller songs, even from pop all the way through country. And now I feel like it's entering into this era where it's like it's kind of a healthy balance where it's like creative lyrics that are good, but unique concepts, like, you know, espresso, and just like it's just fun, but it's like it's not. Earlier you were saying it's like it's not taking itself too seriously.
Yeah.
And
you don't want to like try to come off too cool because then you lose relatability.
Yeah. Yeah, Taylor does that like so well. Like she's like cool, but she's also like just super goofy, and that makes her like really likable.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's true. I was listening back to some of the hits in like 2012 and 14 and stuff, and like they would have the rap feature, and it was just these like super goofy raps.
Yeah.
Like on Dark Horse.
Oh yeah.
Like Katy Perry, and then like even like Snoop Dogg on like California Girls and stuff. It's like all these rappers come in and just like drop these goofy bars.
Oh,
and I'm like, we need to go back to that.
The goofy bars are electric.
Because then like all the teenagers like are so psyched about it.
Oh
like,
yeah, Ludacris on Baby. So funny.
The Justin Bieber one.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like he dropped I think it was Big Sean. I was telling Olivia like he dropped like a good advice bar. He was like grass isn't greener on the other side, it's greener where you water it.
Oh, so
and I was like,
Big Sean is so underrated to me.
Let's bring that back.
Yeah.
Like just some solid advice in a rap.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So good. I do the rap features back then were kind of elite.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, it was pretty good.
Rendezvous. I'll take you there. It's so crazy. In the early Justin Bieber days.
Oh yeah. The Ludacris rap is just is all
just
time.
Just Ludacris. Yeah.
I feel like the video of him drinking like the glacial water.
No.
It's pretty. He's like, he goes to like this like Antarctic lake glacier, and he's like, I've always wanted to. It's like his bucket list to go like drink out of a glacier.
That's so random.
It was pretty cool.
It's just wholesome.
It's super wholesome.
So wholesome.
Oh yeah.
Do you intentionally try to write like lyrics that are not too serious?
I do, just because I don't know.
I feel like you're really good at it. Like we wrote that Yeehaw song recently. Hopefully it comes out someday. But
yeah,
like some of those lyrics were just bananas.
I love a funny lyric so much. You have to toe the line. I feel like maybe I go too far sometimes, but it's like I love comedy and
yeah.
Comedians, like a lot of them say the same things. It's like everybody's funny. You're like sitting at the lunch table in high school and you're saying jokes to your friends, and like that stuff is like, and like people are laughing and like that kind of thing. And like that's the type of stuff that like hits when you're making stand up. It's just like whatever you were just saying to your friends that's true. You weren't thinking about, and it's just funny. And I feel like when I'm writing with people and like you can see just like the way that people, if somebody thinks something is funny and like that's probably right. Like you probably shouldn't go beyond that. It's like, okay, like it doesn't even have to be too funny, but if it just like gives energy to the room, I'm like, I try not to overthink it, but some of my favorite songs are just kind of goofy and fun and like not taking themselves too serious. I think like what happens when you're a creative too is like, sometimes you create into a void, and it almost like makes you want to get a little melancholy. Yeah. But it's like, I don't know, when you're like on a kayak with your friends floating down a river, like they just turn on a playlist and it's usually fun. Like maybe there's some funny songs in there, and
country definitely has some like goofy stuff.
They do. They love a goofy
But also
lyric.
like for me, writing K-pop or C-pop has helped a lot, because I noticed like when they would cut these Chinese songs, they would just keep the lyrics
Yeah.
and like, or like they would change it to something that like in American doesn't make sense. Like they would say it in English,
Yeah.
but it would be like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm just gonna write these lyrics like just super whack,
Yeah.
like almost just to see if they'll keep it.
Yeah.
Like I got a cut recently called Sad Summer, and I was like, sad summer, you can't relate that. And I like had that in the rap, and like they released that in English.
And they loved it.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm so glad they kept that in there. Cause like as an American, you hear that, you're like, what? Like that doesn't really make sense. But they're just like, this sounds fire. And so now I feel like that gives me freedom to like try new ideas. Like when we did that K-pop camp here, I feel like we just had so many dope ideas because there was like we didn't have to think like, oh, we have to try to keep it in this certain like coolness box or whatever.
Yeah.
We're just like, let's just do whatever.
Well, they talk about like, the Swedish method, you know, and like they're just doing gibberish the whole first day. They don't even write a lyric the first day. It's just gibberish. And it's like a lot of times the gibberish has a lyric that it wants to be.
Yeah.
If you're willing to just surrender to whatever it is, you're like, okay, you can generally like pick out the nouns in it, but then you kind of got to massage it to like, you know, to fit. And it's like, I don't know. I love that about K-pop. You just kind of start, once you kind of have the melody, you just start gibberishing the words and it'll usually tell you what it wants to be.
Yeah.
We were writing that one song and you're like, if you say 1, 2, 3, it's just as automatically.
Oh yeah. That's just automatic. Yeah. That's why that song 7 by Jungkook was so big. It's
Yeah.
like, it's just the weekdays. Like he just says the weekdays and everyone's like, I can get behind that.
Oh yeah.
Just simple.
You know it before you even heard it.
The counting. Yeah. You can't go wrong with the counting.
Oh yeah.
It just always hits. Yeah. Have you, like, I'm curious, just to switch it back a little bit, with your workflow lately, do you feel like you've been able to have some sort of balance with your work? Like, you've been doing some pretty dope stuff lately and getting some dope cuts.
Oh,
like
thank you.
Georgia Ways, Luke Bryan, Quavo. Who was the other artist on it?
Teddy Swims.
Yeah, crazy. So I know you're like super busy doing a bunch of stuff. Also, Morgan Wallen, he wrote something for Morgan Wallen, which is crazy.
Thank you.
Are you like able to balance your life right now or not? I'm just curious what it's like for you.
I feel like it just comes in waves for me. I really try to, I mean, obviously like there's only so much time. So it's like you do have to prioritize, you know, a little bit and whatever, but kind of what we were saying like earlier, like I just kind of surrender to the moment. Like I just surrender, like when I'm busy, like I used to get really, really stressed out and just be like, oh, I have no time. And I would get this feeling of dread when I would get into these busy spells. And then like, or like you're really busy and you don't feel like you have anything going on for a little while or, you know, whatever. There's a million of those things where you just get into those mental traps. But now I kind of have like, kind of what we were saying earlier, I just have kind of surrendered and like given it to faith, given it to God.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I know that God is going to give me time off.
Yeah.
And that this is just a sowing period. And
amen, brother.
And so like when it presents itself and when the work is there, I'm like, okay, you know what? I have a willingness to do this. Like I know I'm going to be tired. I know I'm probably going to wake up and have dread some days of like, oh, gosh, I need a day off or something. And like, but I'm a work sprinter. Like, I don't feel like I'm a balancer by any means. Like, okay. I feel like I'm like, okay, I go really hard for like 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever. And then I'll take a week off or, you know, I really am quite terrible I'm pretty terrible at like trying to live like just a consistently balanced life. Like it doesn't work for me, but for some people that works. And, I like work sprints and Maya, my girlfriend, is like super understanding of that too. So
that's nice.
So it's like, and she's kind of similar. So we kind of meet in the middle, and you know, I definitely try to make sure I prioritize like our relationship, and you know, yeah, just work when the opportunities are there, and just work as hard as I can, and then you know, I just have faith that something will work out in there, and but yeah, I mean, I guess like I used to be way more concerned about balance, and I don't know if it's just because like after I turned like 30, like I kind of like a lot of those like concerns kind of melted away a little bit more, and it's like, okay, like I'm just going to show up today. I'm going to do the work today. Like I'm going to be really busy these 3 weeks, and I'm just kind of mentally prepare for that and and just acknowledge that I'm going to probably be grumpy a few of the days and, you know, whatever. But I don't know. What about you?
I mean, that's huge. Like being prepared.
Yeah.
I feel like that's half the battle too. Like just setting your expectations right.
Yeah.
So that like, you know, like you said, like if you kind of expect you're going to be kind of crabby,
yeah,
it kind of helps a little bit.
Yeah, you kind of are less crabby. You're just like, okay, this is here. Like maybe I'm just
hungry. There's a reason for this.
Yeah, exactly. And then even you can kind of prepare in, like in those periods, you can be like, okay, like I know I'm going to be like overworked. Like sometimes just like going to the gym like a couple of times a week, like when I'm busy, like will help me get some of that, that energy out.
Oh, for
just
sure.
Just movement, just getting the body just moving a little bit. Like even if it's 15, 20 minutes or just walking, whatever.
Yeah.
It can be like hugely helpful.
I think that's like the number one best way.
Yeah.
To like navigate that. Like just going.
Yeah, some of that energy
like even
just
a
gets
walk.
stuck, and it's like, you know, you can feel like if it's just getting the body in motion, like if your joints are feeling like a little bit, you know, whatever, then you're probably gonna, if you're in pain, like your mind is going to react like it's in pain, you know. And you know, it's like, it sounds like kind of weird, but it's like, you know, you're sitting at a desk. You're like, sitting is not great for you. It's like then you're like, you know, I don't know. You just get stuck energy, and it's good to just move around or if you can go for like a walk in the middle of your ride or like that kind of thing. It like helps me.
I like doing that personally. Some people want to just like power through it, but like I always need some sort of break.
Yeah.
Otherwise I just plateau like crazy or just
they
like
also
start falling
say,
off.
Yeah, they say those are like your, they say that those activities are like the right side of your brain too. Like the reason you go pee, and then you like think of the lyric.
Idea.
But that's actually like
it's legit.
Right brain activity, or like brushing your teeth is a right brain activity. Like, and I find that it's like, so it's like, again, just a testament to what you're saying, like taking breaks or like doing something random. Like oftentimes you have those creative breakthroughs like during that time.
Okay. So also another thing, I wanted to talk about is like times of silence and breathing too.
Yeah.
Like I haven't ever like dove into breath work or anything. I know a lot of people talk about that, but for me, like if I'm overwhelmed or like feeling a little bit anxious while I'm working, for reasons I like know about or I don't even know about, it's just happening. Mm-hmm. Obviously like breathing helps me a lot, but also just like spending time in prayer, just like in silence. Yeah. But like I do that in the morning, like pretty much the first thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like I wouldn't be able to function properly if I didn't do that. Like the like times of silence in the morning, just like in prayer with the Lord, but also just like calming myself. Yeah. And I feel like it's one of those things that's like both spiritual and physical. Yeah. Cause like, I'm guessing you probably know a lot about the physical side, like slowing down your breathing and all that. But I feel like spiritually it's a huge thing too, to get your mind in the right place and be prepared for the day. Or like if you're on that break, having just like a refresh, or even just like remembering that you need to surrender it to the Lord, and that gives you like some peace to go back into the work. Yeah. Oh, and you know, like before I found Jesus, I was like really, really into meditation. Yeah. Real into secular
meditation and did silent retreats and spent a lot of time in meditation. And I still think that meditation is a great tool. But yeah, prayer is, prayer has, scientifically similar things are happening in the mind. Like the body is basically designed to worship. Like when you are in postures of worship, when you are like in prayer actively, like things are happening in the mind, regulations happening in the mind. It releases different types of chemicals, like, and it even has an effect like on the environment. They've done studies of prayers of churches in areas in prayer and the surrounding population, the direct area around it. And they've also done that with Buddhist monks too. And it's had the similar results, but like it actually is lifting up the mood of the surrounding areas as well. And I don't have to like the exact data on that, but you can kind of Google that and check it out. Yeah. But I wanted to say kind of earlier, you touched on this anxious energy, and sometimes like this, it can be a hindrance, right?
Yeah.
And then sometimes it can be motivating, right? And I think it's like, in terms of breathing and meditation and, prayer and stuff like that, there is something that I think if people are going to meditate, there's something to be aware of, that there's your day-to-day, you have a tendency to either be interoceptive and exteroceptive. And when
it's a new word for me.
So
2 new words.
It's kind of like being an introvert or an extrovert, but whereas like you're probably not changing whether or not you're an introvert, like you just consider yourself an introvert or you consider yourself an extrovert. Do people recharge you or do you recharge you, right? That's kind of how they generally define that. Interoceptive and exteroceptive are your inner thoughts distracting you? Are your inner feelings distracting you? That's interoceptive. Or is your environment distracting you? Are the sounds that you're hearing, are the external things distracting you? And so if the external world is distracting you, then you may want to do like eyes closed stuff is actually better, because what you're going to do is like that will you'll become more aware of what's happening inside of the body. But I think for most people, we're all interoceptive. So sometimes if I would just say like, if you are going to meditate, eyes open meditation, or just like that, I think prayer is kind of like in itself, like an exteroceptive style meditation as well. But it actually helps with internal regulation. And if you're doing eyes closed meditation, especially eyes closed silent meditation, or eyes closed just sitting in silence with your eyes closed, when you get into like, if you have social anxiety, it may actually heighten that, because you're going to be more aware of the anxiety inside of your body, and it's going to make it more difficult to focus on things outwardly. And that was kind of my experience with it. But
wow, I didn't know that. That makes so much sense.
It is kind of.
I think I'm the other one where like I get distracted by outward things, but I'm like so chill with just like inside. I
kind of check in. Because for me, I flux. Like if I'm physically tired or physically hungry, I tend to be more exteroceptive. I tend to like sounds and things. I'm just like darting all over the place. And it's hard for me to kind of focus on what's in front of me. But other than that, I do feel like I'm kind of more aware of what's my internal workings or stuff. I don't know. I guess it ebbs and flows for me, but.
You're an ambivert.
Yes.
You're both.
Unless I'm injured, then I'm definitely an I will just, when I'm injured, I'm just like, I just force my body into submission until it hurts too much to ignore.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think like, I don't know. I think, so with prayer for you, like, what is your approach how do you approach prayer? 'Cause like being a newer Christian, like the morning prayer for me is so grounding.
Yeah.
And I find it's like, it sets the tone for your day in a way that's like, for me, it's like, I have this tendency to just like, I don't know. I guess it's like, it brings it from like, it's all about me to it's not about me.
Oh yeah.
And
That's
is
huge.
that makes for a much more peaceful day. Like I can see like, I want to check in with others more. And it's like, it just naturally, prayer, I feel like naturally like humbles you to being,
Yeah.
at least for me in my
Yeah,
personal
totally.
experience. So like, what's your approach? Like, walk me through like a morning.
A morning prayer.
Yeah.
I guess my morning time, usually I start by reading the Bible for a little
Yeah.
bit and like reflecting on it. And then after that, spend some time in prayer. But I don't know. For me, it's like I've been learning. I feel like there's so much more to prayer than like we can learn in a lifetime. So like
Yeah.
you kind of think you get it at some point, but like there's always like a deeper level. So I feel like I'm trying to like discover more, but like it's a little bit like intercessory prayer, whatever. I don't know the term. Where that's like praying for other people.
Yeah.
And there's also just like praying for my own life or my job or whatever. I feel like that's pretty easy for me to do because it's like you just think about something and you pray for someone. But I feel like the harder one is like listening and like kind of being silent. And I feel like the difference with meditation is like secular meditation is more like or like emptying your mind, trying to like be empty. Whereas like I'm trying to put myself in a position to listen if the Lord like wants to bring something up, like whether that's someone to pray for, or, like send a text to, or like just some profound like thought or interpretation of the scripture. And I've actually found like recently that if I set a timer for silence in prayer, it really helps the distraction. Because if it's like, I'm just going to sit and pray for a while, I'll just like end up train of thought thinking about a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
For some weird reason, if I set a timer and be like, during this timer, I'm only just going to pray.
Yeah.
That does something weird to my mind where it like makes me way more focused.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't really know why it is, but it's way more effective for me that way.
Because do you think it's like, oh, I've dedicated this particular amount of time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For some reason that works really well. But I heard someone say that like one biblical definition of prayer is relaxing into the presence of God.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
Because like it makes it more about less like it can be kind of a checklist thing. Like I need to pray and I need to like say this or that. But I think what God really wants is just like us to be with him and to be in his presence.
Yeah.
So if I'm like aware, like honoring who God is and remembering, like if you really think about who God is, like and try to really like understand that, it'll humble you so quick. Like you'll just be like, holy smokes, how can I like talk to God? That's insane.
Oh, it's insane.
But like it's way easier to be flippant and just like talk to him, whatever. Which he allows us to just be casual with it too. But sometimes I feel like having that reverence and just remembering who he is helps like engage like, wow, I'm really talking to God right now and he's listening.
That was like the key distinction for me, and like the whole that like meditation was always missing for me personally, was because you can get really, I do feel like even in meditation, like I felt like the presence of the Holy Spirit. Like you're sitting there, you're feeling this openness, and it is like, it's not as if you're it's not necessarily like a clearing of the mind. It's like this, it's a allowing of what is kind of practice, which creates capacity. So like it decreases the likelihood of you chasing a thought per se.
Gotcha.
In my experience. But the main like difference is for me in Christianity is like, it's still a reliance upon like basically your own wisdom, which is very limiting, right? Like, and
yeah,
the accessibility of it is like, the accessibility is extremely like difficult to cultivate, and you're still using like, I still feel like it's like, I don't know. The main thing that it lacked is a human relationship with God. Like that's like even in like Christian meditation, it's like I'm with the Holy Spirit. But what I do feel like when I'm outwardly praying to Jesus, it's like I'm having a completely different experience of God, because you're having an experience with a God that has an understanding and compassion with the human experience. Whereas like the Holy Spirit to me feels like this energy that works through you, like what you're saying, of like that God will give you the insights and the ability to work through you
and through others.
Yeah. And it's like a binding kind of thing. And then, the Father is in a completely different experience. So it's like that is such a complete experience and can create, I think, a more accessible piece and a more like, it's just a more real kind of overall feeling, in my opinion.
Yeah.
To be able to, it just like, and granted, like it took me, I had not experienced that before. So it's like, it's weird when I was kind of seeking spirituality, like I started with meditation, but eventually it just led me into Christianity. And I think it's just because, and just not having very limited exposure to it, but just the experiential level. People like, if you meet somebody that's like an atheist or agnostic and like, they're like, well, what, like they'll cherry pick some quotes or they'll do different things and kind of like ask you questions and whatever. And they're like, well, what do you like, what converted you to Christianity? Like, why do you believe? And it's like, this is like the most unsatisfying thing. Like, but like when you're sitting with God and when you have an experience with God, you just can't, it's like, I can't give that to you. Like you have to have an openness. And at least for me, it's like my heart had to be cracked open.
Yeah.
And then like Jesus just like came into the heart and was like, and you just have this experience with it. And it's like, if I'm like, as when I was a non-believer, it's like, that's like the most frustrating reason that you can possibly hear, because you want it to be
find
like
out for yourself.
This plus this equals this.
Yeah, like whatever. A logic thing. Yeah.
Which there is that too.
Of course, yeah.
But there's nothing I think can compete with just like sitting in prayer or going to church or just sitting in silence or whatever.
Yeah. Dude, I love that.
Did I go off on a tangent there?
No, not at all. That's great. I recently was thinking, like, I feel like this was a Holy Spirit thing. Hopefully it's not wrong and blasphemous, but it was like, I feel like the Holy Spirit speaks sometimes where you just like, something occurs to you, you're like, wow, that, like, I don't know where that came from. But I was just thinking about like, when it comes to work, like if you're like, I think as Christians, we want to do stuff for God. We're like, oh, I want to do music for God or like live my day for God. But I feel like you can't do something for God unless you're doing it with God.
Yeah.
And like, I think there's a distinction there because like sometimes you like will do something for God, but it's at the expense of a relationship with him or with your family or with others.
Yeah.
Whereas like you want to invite him into the process. And I think that's the same with prayer. Like you don't want to like, oh, I'm going to pray to like make God happy because I need to do that. But like the goal is really to be with him and like have an experience with him.
Yeah.
And I think we can do that with our music careers too, where you're not like trying to make music for God. You're like, oh, I need to do this Christian thing or whatever so that God will be happy. It's like make music with him and invite him in the process. Or even like with this podcast, I've been trying to invite the Lord into like making it happen, like praying that like he'll make a way for a cool location or whatever.
Yeah.
And it works out. Like God answers prayers. Like we're here at this dope house in Grand Haven. And yeah.
It is like, it's like, I have like, I really like that kind of perspective. I feel like my perspective is slightly, it's like that, but also I feel like a sense of duty. It's like if you're Usain Bolt and you know that you can run that fast, not that I'm not saying we're Usain Bolt of whatever, but I'm just saying like if God gave you that gift, he wants you to like, he's like wanting to do it with you, but he's also kind of giving it to you to be like, hey, like I've given you this thing, like I want you to go like down this path, and he wants to be glorified too. But it's almost like it makes it, I feel like, easier to like be like, okay, like I'm supposed to do that. Like I'm supposed to do this because I have the gift to be able to hear music.
Mm-hmm.
And some people can't even like hear the difference between pitch or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I do think that there is like if you have like a brain for engineering, it's like God kind of wants you to, he's given you that. Mm-hmm. It's not even yours, you know?
Yeah,
it's like,
totally.
It's like an invitation for service, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know if that resonates at all.
Oh yeah. I definitely think like the Lord gives you gifts, and he's like, I think it makes him proud when like you take that and you do something with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially when it's like used to glorify him, because then it brings about the fruit.
And that's arguably like,
because you can use it to create chaos. Like,
oh yeah.
Like certain artists are definitely kind of agents of chaos, and like you can do that and you'll get fame, you'll get money, but like, what are you spreading? You're spreading like, you're spreading kind of like chaos.
You're playing for the wrong team.
Yeah. So it's like, but then there are people that they bring about joy, they bring about togetherness, and they can do it for that. And it's like, you know, it's,
arguably like there's our work, like there's going to be work in heaven.
Yeah.
And like, if you're partnering with God and bringing about his kingdom now, that's what Jesus did when he came. He was like, the kingdom is now.
Yeah.
And like after, but it's also now.
Yeah.
So I feel like when we operate that way, where like we have been given gifts and we use them for his kingdom, we're like participating in a eternal thing. Like we'll be working that way in heaven too. Yeah. I think.
That's like,
maybe.
That's really interesting. Have you ever like had the question like, what's the difference between ethics and morality?
I haven't specifically asked that question.
It's like, I was asked that like recently by my dad, and we were just like kind of having a similar conversation, and he's like, and I guess it's like, I was like, I think my answer was like ethics is others or something like that, or ethics is like in response to treating other people. I can't remember what my answer was, but the point is like morality is when you've done something immoral, it's something that you've done that like has an impact like on your own soul. And when you're doing something like in ethics, it's like maybe it's like a societal kind of like expectation or that kind of thing. But it's like, I think that's like another way. It's like only you and God can know your intention and so it's like, that's also the challenge too, of like, can you do things like with the intentionality of like servicing God in joy, in servicing in these like in a positive way, because you can do something in service in a way that is like, you could be doing something ethical, but your internal compass is like judgmental.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the whole idea of the Sermon on the Mount, is like, what's your heart posture versus what you're presenting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's always like a unique challenge too, of like, okay, like, am I doing something to make myself feel better?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Or am I doing something because I'm like, I actually want to be like of service? It's like
yeah. Which me and Justice were literally talking about this on the way here, but like, I feel like that's another thing that's built into the fabric of how the world works, is that when you actually do serve, it's like back to the dopamine thing too. It's almost like you pay the price of laying yourself down and serving.
Yeah.
But you actually, like, the other person gets the benefit of the service, but you also get the benefit, because like there's just something innate about, like, you get joy when you serve someone.
Yeah. It's like, it is so interesting because like all of these like things that have been written down for thousands of years,
Yeah.
like, biblically, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know,
You ain't wrong.
they ain't wrong.
Yeah.
You ain't wrong.
You right.
So yeah, dude, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's crazy. I feel like this might be a good time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Do you have any more thoughts that are burning inside your mind?
Man, I just had a really good time chatting. It was super fun.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. It was very fun. People can find you on Instagram. How?
Garrison Music.
Garrison Music. And you have a couple releases yourself, don't you, on Spotify?
I do. I have no plans to really, I've been more in the writing and production space. I don't have any current plans to release anything else, but
Time will tell.
yeah, time will tell.
Yeah, check out Jeff Garrison. He's got dope music and dope vibes all around.
Well,
So
Ashley's
thank you.
very kind. Well,
Thank you for coming on the
having me
show.
on.
Goodbye, everyone. I have no idea how to end podcasts. So I just wung it. Wung it.
You just need
Wang
like an
it.
outro, like a podcast outro song that
Just like
slowly,
fades in.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Dope.
Dude, that was so fun.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much.